Hi, and welcome to my level for my second semester 2T game assignment. So I'm just going to take you through the critical path because the map for this is quite big, and to explore it all will take marginally a long time. So yeah. So I'm just going to take you through the levels and I'll show you some blueprint stuff I changed, which I will be changing more during some, but it's mostly down to the AI. In changes. So here, this is like the main starting area. We start out. It tells the player what to do. So follow the markers and how to move. So here I used the spleen tools and the rocks, as I'm pointed to with the tank. I actually used the foliage tool painter, and you can see the walls. I use for the spline tool as well to create the tools. Um, So you'll start off to shoot these just to get the player to, and it's like a little tutorial to tell you how to aim and shoot. Then the player will get forced over to here, and then it'll tell you how armor works. As you can see, I do have the working armor is at the bottom, and then my health should start to go down. There we go. Now it's going to take my health. I'm actually going to grab some health here because I'm almost dying. There we go. Um, Obviously, in this section of the game, the player shouldn't be dying. And we got some more areas over here. Again, all of the. It looks like he's stuck. So again, all of the like the rocks, like these type of rocks here, they're all being placed by the foliage thing. Mostly because I did that because it gave a nice spread of the. Oh, I can't. There you go. There we go. Mostly because it gave a nice spread of all the different like potential foliage textures I like. It just gave it a nice spread, made it look a bit more natural as well, instead of just placed there. Um, Obviously, the night lighting does need to be rebuilt, and I will rebuild it. So should have done that really well. So you go shoot these enemies. So yeah. So we're going to keep going through. Of course, there will be some foliage and some like rocks on the ground as well, because this whole terrain is supposed to look like that hasn't been used in a long time, and it's quite a new military setup here. The aim will be to basically clear out the enemies and do different things like so. So I'm going to take you on the main path, which is you'll either do this one or further down if you do go into zone 3. There is one there as well, and again all these palm trees, these rocks on the floor, and these cacti again are all foliage. These railings they are used being the spleen tool, and if you do see things like this where the kind of the ground is above the railings, that is actually done on purpose to make it look like there's been some sort of rock fall that's smashed into them over it, and things like that as well, which will make sense because that's the type of thing I was going for, like bit destroyed and ruined. Down there, we're not going to go that way because that is not a critical pathway. Wait, that's not a critical pathway up there. There will be a quest up there, but it won't be as far as it can go. The player will always know if they can go this way because there will be like the pebbling, the pebble paint just on there, which there is a lot of with the rock. So usually I've done the rock paint and then overlaid it with the pebble and then smoothed it down. Like on here, the main road will always be rocked out first, then pebble on top, and secondary places will have will just have the pebble. The rock generally will tell the player that this is the main path where you are supposed to be going. So when we get to here, you can either go up to up this way, which I will show all these areas later, except again, I said it's quite a big map. You don't have to go to all these areas I'm going to show you. Well, I'm just going to take you through for the critical path how to complete the level, which is basically really quick. Again, so I will show some of the cool stuff I have made. A lot of the main road is nothing like major or fancy to look at, mostly because I've done this on purpose to make the player explore a bit more, so they can go, oh, there's not much here, let's have a look over there. Oh, there's a load of enemies. Oh, that's a really cool scene by this, and meshing it looks really cool. Also, again, like the whole by here is very much like the whole like rock falling and stuff like this, like stuff on the road and things like that, which looks pretty cool. Again, this area is very much supposed to be like this to just like demonstrate that there's kind of been like some road damage and some mounting damage over the years. Again, by here, where it's been so long since anyone used these roads, nature has kind of taken its course. So yeah, we're going to keep going around. So I do want the player to explore more. It's kind of why I've left it kind of like this. So when they do go out exploring, they have to go out exploring to see really cool stuff. A lot of the enemies as well. None of the quests will be on the critical path. They'll just be off, so they'll have to veer off the critical path, just a teeny bit, not too much. They can go further to explore if they want to. There are 2 zones which the player does not have to go to. I will show you there. But if they want to pick up cool weapons, they will have to go there. But they can avoid that area completely if they so wish. So this is the quickest way to complete the level. If you just follow this route, instead of going off exploring, you will get to the quests quicker. You will, basically complete the game a lot quicker this way. Some of the stuff I have done and will be doing. So they've changed the axis sensitivity to about movement to 250 on each axis. I will show that in Blueprint as well, but it just gives it a bit of more of a precise turning when you are turning around, because I found that when I turn around, sometimes if it was something in the upper corner of your control pad, you weren't able to as precisely target that enemy. I've also started the player off with 50 health, so they do have to actually go out and find pickups as well to get full health. I'm also going to be changing the armor system, so it's a regenerative armor, or shield. I'm going to call it overshields, but it'll only regenerate after 10 seconds of not being after 10 seconds of not taking damage. I'm actually going to go off track a bit as well, just by here, so you can kind of see what some of the stuff I've modeled looks like in game. There's a lot of it planned out. So just by here, we got some military camps, which have been modeled by me and textured by me as well. I think they look pretty cool, but I'm being mildly biased. Here is a military installment. So in here, they're going to have in these places. This is where most of the tanks are going to be coming out of. Just by here, and then we will be having some more tents. There should be containers around here somewhere. Where are my containers? Oh, they're on the other side. So a lot of the drones I will be having surrounding these areas, just by here. Okay, so if we go back onto the what? Oh, I don't want to go in there. So let's have a look. So if we go over here, we'll see some of the containers. And again, bearing in mind, yes, this area does kind of look a bit bare, but you do have to remember I haven't actually input all the enemies yet, because I'll be setting up the enemies to follow you instead of using dedicated path nodes. Obviously it will use the path nodes, but it will make sure it follows the player, because I like the idea of that. It feels more authentic. It feels just a lot easier, and it also creates a huge challenge if they're following you. So these are the crates as well, which I did model and texture. right here. I will set these up so they will take damage, and you can get like ammo from here, possibly health, but mostly is going to be ammo because you will go through a lot of ammo if you do end up using all three weapons. Um, yeah. So we go up here, and this will be heading towards the end of the game now. We've done all 4 quests, and you've just got one more to go. So the quests are going to be 2 kill quests, 2 kill and rescue quests. Rescue quests, that all that is just a pickup. It's just a pickup quest, but you have to go pick something up. Either it's going to be a different kind of drone, and that'll be like the enemy, like our intel. You have to steal enemy intel, which will be a drone, um, or again, just and it will be another kill quest as well. So 2, yeah. And then it will be a pickup quest on its own, and then the final one will be another kill quest, which that will be at the end of the game, and it will be fighting one giant ass tank. Yeah, pretty much. That'll be your boss battle, and then the game end will open again by here. The whole thing, I 100% love the look of like this whole rock falling, because it does, especially like where it looks like it's kind of eroded up on the mountain there, and it kind of looks like they fall into place, which I love that aesthetic. And I haven't wanted to use it too much because it could look a bit tacky if it was like everywhere. So I've just left like bits on the side where you see rubble and things like falling down. We should, again by here, where like the sand has just completely overcome this place, because hardly anyone has been here for a long time, except for this military base, which has come quite recently. One that will be the story of it anyway. Yes. So if we keep going, just keep running, just keep running. I also slowed down the tank as well, so the tank movement has been slowed. So again, we got more stuff by here. You did not see that. You. So yeah. So this is the main thing. Again, we have like bits of brick and building here as well. So it kind of looks like there used to be like settlements here. And again, more military bases which have been built up. And again, over here we should have some more containers, I believe. I put containers here. We have some more palm trees because they are pretty. There's just more palm trees. Just more palm trees. Ah, cool. So yeah, there's some military bases over there. Obviously this area is full of like palm trees and debris and rubble. And this area here will be the place of your main main bad guy. At the moment I'm doing the tanks and, and everything increased. So at the moment the drones at the beginning of the level will only take about 5 damage, about 2 or 3 damage. You will take about 2 or 3 damage from them. The main tank, so like the tanks, they'll do about 5 to 6, and the turrets will be about 8 to 9. And that will depend how far you're in the game. So at start, you'll start at the lowest end of the numbers I've just said, and when you get towards the end, it'll be the higher. Except for the last boss, and that'll do some like hefty damage. And that's one of the reasons why I've kind of wanted to do regenerative armor, so I can make the bad guys a bit more challenging without worrying about too much about health, because it just means the player has to have more skill avoiding those shots for at least 10 seconds so the shields can recharge. The other thing I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet because I haven't finished modeling them. For each weapon, the actual barrel is going to change as well, so when you click onto a new weapon, the barrel is changed. I am working on them at the moment. And yeah, so that is how the game will play and look. So if I go into this mode, I can kind of show you a bit more of the level. As you can see, it's quite big. If you do end up wandering over here, you will see some ocean, which is pretty nice. So yeah. So if we go up, this is zone 5, if I can remember. And by here, this area will be plastered full of enemies. And your weapon unlock here, it will be under just a normal ammo pickup. But it will be for there as well. Over here, your quests for this section will just be around by here, so it's not too far off the beaten track. And again, this shows you the critical, a sub path. You don't have to go this way, but you will have to go just around by here. Again, a lot of these like buildings and stuff, I didn't just place them down. Again, over by here, so this foliage and the rocks and the stones, I did use the foliage tool. I didn't actually use the spline tool too much, mostly because I wasn't a huge fan of it. It did make it hard to make things look a bit more natural. Again, I did use it for these railings, and I did use it for this wall up here, as you can see with the green lines here. And again, up by here, this is zone 3, and up here will be the weapon number 1, which is the plasma cannon. Yeah, the plasma cannon. So they'll pick up the plasma cannon here, and they'll fight these enemies to get to it. And again, I've put blocking volumes down here as well, so the player can't actually go through these buildings. That would be horrendous. And again, just by here, and again over by here, more blocking volumes. To create the terrain, I use this the the sculpting tool by here with some smooth, and then obviously the ramp tool to create the ramp. I haven't had to actually re-topologize anything. Everything seems to be quite good. Just a bit of smoothing has kind of sorted my topology out, so I haven't had to re-topologize anything. I haven't had to do it for anything. I haven't had to do it for anything. A lot of these sections here, so this section, these sections, and a lot of the detail along these areas. I've actually used the noise tool and the erosion tool, mostly the hydro erosion. Up by here, I use the hydro erosion tool quite a bit up here, with obviously the gravel, the pebble, and the rock paint. And again, the noise tool along here, noise tool all along this water plane. Noise tool, pretty much used the noise tool for all this here. Used it quite a lot, just adding that extra detail. I did use the sculpt tool quite a bit. So over here, I did it for over there. For these mountainous sections here, I haven't meshed out these top areas, mostly because the player is never going to see them. They just kind of look. I just kind of like them to be high, just in case you do come over here and it's not like that high, and then you can see over there. So I did like them nice and high, just for that extra safety that the player won't see over here. Obviously, it's not going to be that, if I brought this in, they won't see over it, which is cool. But yeah, so for here, I mostly use the noise tool. For down here, I did use the flatten and the sculpt tool. So I sculpted down and then flattened out here, and then noised all around here and smoothed. Again, another ramp tool. This section here as well, I did the exact same thing. So I sculpted down and then flattened, and up here I sculpted up, smoothed and ramped by here as well, and noised and sculpted it upwards for this section here. So yeah, so that is pretty much my level, and again sculpted and smoothed and then ramped up here. I did have the road spleen coming down all the way here. But then I tried the paint as well, and the paint kind of looked better while you're playing it as well. It did look much better. It also meant I could make the ground a bit more bumpy as well. Some of the problems I found with the spleen is that if you had bumpy ground, it didn't work that massively, because you would kind of dip in quite a bit and go underneath the spline, which is not a bad thing. It is a bad thing, but with more time, probably could have ironed that out. But when I was playing, as you saw, just the paint looked really good, I found, so I kept with the paint, kind of the whole paint thing, because it made it look trodden and worn down, but it also made it look like it hadn't been trodden and worn down in a while, been used in a while, unlike the the spline road mesh, where it looked like it was used quite regularly, and I kind of didn't want that look, because that's not the look I'm going for here. Again, I do want to replicate kind of old and also kind of deserted, except for obviously the military presence it has at the moment, and there will be a story for it. I'll put it under tutorial notes, so as the player hits the tutorials, they can learn a bit more about what this area is. So the main story is that there's going to be like this artifact, and they've kind of this enemy force has kind of taken over. It's your job to take out the enemy forces, collect intel, destroy key players in this military, and basically fight the big boss at the end, which will be by here. Oh yeah, they were containers. I knew they were, because of course they were. Went past them. So the containers by here. So yeah, that's pretty much my level. I'm gonna exit out of full screen mode now. I'm actually gonna take you through the blueprints. So if you can go into tanked pawn. So here is the tank pawn. As you can see, I've actually changed it to the tank I modelled and textured last year for my rendering and modelling assignment. In here is my modify armor. Modify armor value. So this is how the armor works. I will be changing it, so it will have regeneration. And here is my working health by here. Ammo. There is the ammo thing here somewhere. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh, so here, so the get world location, I changed the Z coordinate, and the Z coordinate's 250, just to kind of get that more precise aim. And if we go into weapons here somewhere, set weapon 0, set weapon 2. There is a place here where I did start. Oh, here, yeah. So it's just in here. I'm a doof. So just by here, so I set the current ammo to 0 on these two weapons, so they can't access them straight away, which means they do have to go and find the actual pickup to get these weapons. As you can see, I set the armor and health to 50. I will change it. I'll do it now actually. I will change the armor to 100, since it will be on a regenerative scale. Speed is 6. It was 10, I believe, originally, but I changed it down because it just felt a bit too fast for a big clunky tank like that. And also by here is the start of the blueprint for my mesh. So obviously my turret will go into my mesh, and obviously when I actually finish modeling my mesh, it'll go in here, and then I'll start the begin play and begin event, and then when you change weapon, the weapon barrel will change. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've done so far. Ooh, there's something else. Was it enemies? Sure, it was enemies. Yes, of course. So the original tank that came with the with this framework. So I took the the patrol turret and then changed the mesh on the patrol turret, and obviously the arrow component I've changed to for where they actually spawn the projectiles. I did the same for that for my character actually. How could I forget that? So I go into tank pawn by here. I can't believe I forgot to do that. So yeah, so here is the fire point. So I put the fire point. So my fire points are on just on the barrel because they were on the side. I put them in the front of the barrel, just so they would be shooting out of the right place, straight from the tank. Save that. So yeah, this is my level. When we do come to the second part, obviously I'll work on the enemies a bit more, because there are a lot to do. Because I do want to change them quite drastically. So in fact, I want to change. I'll go through it now quickly because why not? So the enemies, I do want to change the patrol. This patrol turret here. I want to change that so it's static and it actually acts as, so we take off this top turret. So this top turret come off and you'll literally just be this base and you'll act as an EMP if you go over it. The other thing I want to do is set up barriers in different sections, like by here or by here. I'm probably going to mostly use it for the weapons section, so one by here and one by here, so the player knows, ooh, there's something awesome behind here because there is one dope barrier. So by here it'll be like a blockade. So you'll have to go and destroy these nodes and these patrol mine things, generators. So they will have to destroy it. And then, other than that, these barriers will come down. The other thing I want to do, I want to change one of these patrol turrets into a helicopter, and have a helicopter following you. I have tried it, and it kind of went horrendously bad. So I'll get that looked out in the second half of this assignment. So yeah, this is my level. This is everything at the moment, mesh-wise, to complete the first half of this assignment. So everything's meshed the way I want it to. There's paint everywhere, and obviously I went through the list of the tools I used for this. But yeah, this is it, and yeah, thanks for looking at my level of gloriousness. Thank you.